According to Reuters.com, 2 Russian Air Force planes landed in Venezuela's main airport on Saturday, carrying a Russian defense official and nearly 100 troops. This news comes 3 months after President Nicolas Maduro called for a sign of strengthening relations, and the two nations held military exercises on Venezuelan soil, but which Washington criticized as Russian encroachment in the region.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 25. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Wakak, Radash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught me this truth. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the 4 corners of the earth and risking their life to do so for Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami Camp. And yes, the reason why I brought up the book of Isaiah chapter 3 verse 25 is because we're coming in a time where you clearly see that the major superpowers, all right, and what I'm speaking of, America and Russia, are about to lock horns, all right? And this is inevitable because if you haven't been paying attention to current events, then that's your problem, because it's literally in your face that the tensions is rising between Russia and America. And it's just so how brings out even more that the issues are only going to intensify, because guess what? It just came out by Robert Mueller, who was investigating the whole Russia collusion, that there was none. And that was supposed to happen, right? To keep idiots here in America confused. Because if you haven't been paying attention to America's foreign policy, all right, they were always against Russia. All right, and the Russians have always been against America. All right, all they've been doing is just playing tit for tat, being cordial amongst each other whenever they meet. All right, and I'm talking more specifically whenever Trump or Putin meet each other. But they've always been enmity with one another because it's all biblical. They're supposed to be against each other. And now that we're seeing, according to this article, Russian Air Force planes land in Venezuela carrying troops, it's just more evident that America and Russia are against each other. And that's why World War III is going to break out. And that's why a lot of your men here in Babylon are going to die by the sword, because they're going to be drafted into this war, World War III. So now let's get into this article. Caracas. 2 Russian Air Force planes landed in Venezuela's main airport on Saturday, carrying a Russian defense official and nearly 100 troops, according to a local journalist, and strengthening ties between Caracas and Moscow, right? And that's what we're seeing here. Wars and rumors of wars, all right? And this is a rumor of war. What are Russian troops doing there in Venezuela while the tensions are rising between the current government, which Maduro is running, as well as the opposition, Juan Guaido, aka I believe a CIA implant, all right, and which is backed by America. So why is this happening? Because it's all about the resources there in Venezuela, and it's a strategic launch point for Russia. All right, why? Because if you go to this map right here, just bring it out. Here's Venezuela, here's Caracas, and here is America, all right? It's a strategic launch point to attack America, okay? And that's the reason why Venezuela is such a investment towards Russia and China. Let's get into this article again. It says, a flight tracking website showed that 2 planes left from Russian military airport bound for Caracas on Friday, and another flight tracking site showed that 1 plane left Caracas on Sunday. The report comes 3 months after the 2 nations held military exercises on Venezuelan soil that President Nicolas Maduro called a sign of strengthening relations, but which Washington criticized as Russian encroachment in the region. Hey man, that sounds like wars and rumors of wars. Let's go to that scripture, because that's the times that we're living in. Book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 7. And it goes as this. And we And when ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars, right? Isn't that a war and rumor of war? These nations doing military trainings, all right? You're seeing us saber rattling all throughout Eastern Europe. There was a report that there was a nuclear warplane from America flying on the literally the outskirts of Russian territory. All right, what is that? That's wars and rumors of wars, man. Be ye not troubled, right? Who's not going to be troubled? The elect, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, okay, men, first and foremost, all right, and then the women underneath them, as well as the children, all right, because there's order to this, all right. Be ye not troubled, right? They're not going to be troubled because they're reading the scriptures. They know exactly this is supposed to happen, and that's why they're returning to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They're an Israelite. They're not Hispanic. They're not black. They're not Native American. They threw that, okay, byword and proverb off them and said, no, I'm an Israelite, and I'm going to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of my true power. And I'm going to get into this Bible, all right? I'm going to watch and see prophecy being fulfilled. And guess what? Russian troops land in Venezuela. That's prophecy being fulfilled. Wars and rumors of wars, all right? The Lord is stirring up Magog and Gog, which I'm going to get that scripture. Be not troubled, for such things must needs be, meaning it's supposed to happen, meaning there's no stopping it. So if you're in the spirit of pray to end the wars, if you're in the spirit that we need to just have peace and we need to talk it out, you're off. Because according to the scriptures, this has to happen. World War III must happen so that America is destroyed and we get up out of here and we go back to our homeland, all right, and rule in righteousness, because America is wicked, all right. This whole world is wicked because they follow after the ways of America's, okay, corrupt bullshit philosophy. Verse 8, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, which you're seeing continually. Last week, I believe there was an earthquake in Florida down here. And there shall be famines, right? There's famines all throughout Venezuela. That's why you're having a mass exodus of Venezuelans, all right? They're from the tribe of Asher, of course, going into Colombia or Peru or Bolivia, all right? Because there's no food in Venezuela, all right? And troubles, all right? What troubles they talking about? Oh, there was that cyclone, once again, that ripped through South Africa. There was the flooding that happened in the Midwest, all right? Namely, states as Iowa, Wisconsin, and Nebraska. Isn't that trouble? So we're here. These are the signs, all right? These are the times that we're living in. So war is going to break out, all right? And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Let's see if there's any more in this article. Oh yeah, check this out, because this is this is interesting. A Reuters witness saw what appeared to be a passenger jet at Mokita Airport, on Sunday. Here's the point I'm going to expound on. It was not immediately evident why the planes had come to Venezuela. Venezuela's information ministry did not immediately reply to requests for comment. Russia's defense ministry and foreign ministry did not reply to a message seeking a comment. The Kremlin spokesman also did not reply to requests for comment. So they're ignoring the journalists. They're not even responding to a journalist asking, why are those planes there? Why are those troops in Venezuela? All right, that's it. Very interesting. Hey, wars and rumors of wars. Thy men shall die in the war. Thy men shall die by the sword. Thy men shall, and the mighty shall die, okay, in the war. Pursuant to Isaiah chapter 3, verse 25. All right? Because, hey, why aren't they saying anything? Because they're getting close to World War III breaking out. Let's go to Ezekiel, because this was prophesied that the Russians, Ezekiel 38, verse 1, which are known as Magog and Mag, they're going to be a guard to these nations. All right? And they're preparing themselves for war. Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Mechesh and Tubal, and prophesied against him. All right, we're telling you Russians, you're going into World War III, whether you like it or not. But a lot of you want to go into World War III. You want to spank America's ass, all right? I mean, from me watching the Russian news media, it's evident that you want to put a beat down on America for all the shit that they're doing to your country with the sanctions, all right, stirring up problems. So, all right, whether you like it or not, all right, not trying to go deviate from the scriptures here. Verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Mechesh and Tubal. Right, the Lord's against you. He's only using you to fulfill prophecy so you can go to war against Babylon. Verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Right, and what was evident? Crimea, when Crimea split away from Ukraine, all right, and joined with Russia. That's why you're still having turmoil in Ukraine, because you still got a lot of Russian-speaking Ukrainians, all right, who support Russia. All right, and that's just proof that the Soviet Union, which is now coming together. All right, and now that's why they're showing the world, hey, we're no longer weak. This is not the 1980s and 90s anymore. All right, we're able to move our militaries around. We're able to conduct training with other nations. Okay, we're actually flying B-52 bombers. All right. Into Venezuela and flying into Venezuela, showing our power. In fact, I think it's in this article. Yeah, it's right here. It says the Trump administration has levied crippling sanctions on OPEC nations' oil industry in efforts to push Maduro from power and has called on the Venezuelan military leaders to abandon him. Maduro has denounced the sanctions as U.S. interventionism, right? Because America wants the oil, all right? And has won diplomatic backing from Russia and China, right? That proves that, hey, the Russians have allies now, all right? They're no longer going at this alone. But here's the point. In December, 2 Russian strategic bomber aircraft capable of carrying nuclear weapons landed in Venezuela in a show of support for Maduro's socialist government that infuriated Washington, right? Okay? So the Russians are showing their power now, going pursuant to Ezekiel 38:1. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all them handling swords. What's that talk about? War. They're getting ready for war. World War III. That's why a lot of you Americans, you're going to die in these last days, man. All right? You're going to get drafted into this Third World War, and you ain't coming back. Verse 5. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Right, the Russians have allies. Persia, that's talking about Iran. Ethiopia, that's Hamites. All right, and Libya. All right, you also got Hamites that dwell in Libya, but also you got the Arabs. You got a lot of Arab nations who are now cleaving on to Russia. Okay, just proving the times that we're living in. Verse 6, and Gomor, I believe that's Turkey, and that's a NATO ally. All right, Turkey's now modern day. This talk about the modern day Turkey. They support Venezuela, okay, and they're buying Russian S-400 rockets. So NATO's divided, and all his bands, the House of Togarmah of the North Quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Right, that's talking about NATO. The beast, because they're going to eventually turn on America, all right, and also the militaries, okay, that can't stand America, all right. They're going to look at Russia as what? Verse 7: Be thou prepared for thyself, thou and all thy company. Right, they're preparing themselves. That's why they came over into Venezuela, all right, preparing themselves, all right, because World War III is a global war. Yeah, the main theater of combat will be in the Middle East. But hey, this is a World War III, so there'll be wars breaking out all throughout the earth. Be thou prepared, prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, a guard unto them. So the Russians are showing their power, and they're saying, hey, look, I got nukes. My military's strong. I'll be your protection. And that's why all these nations are rising up, man. All right? And who's main public enemy number one? America. America. And there's been plenty of reports. There's been plenty of videos that I've done, and as well as the brothers, that show that a lot of people in the world do not like America. All right? They don't trust America ever since Donald Trump has became president. All right? It only ignited that I don't trust America. And guess what? Donald Trump's not going anywhere because there was no Russian collusion. So that's just going to show all these nations under the sun, man, we got to be with this we got to be with this guy Trump for another 2 years. All right? Hey, that's going to stir up some feathers. And so they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to align ourselves with the Russians. All right? They're going to be a guard to us. And that's what's going to happen. And a lot of you Americans, you're going to perish in these last days. All right? Because the scripture says, 2 Esdras 16:33, the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. Right? And it's not just American troops, even though my focal point of this lesson is directed to you American troops. But all you other nations, man, you're going to lose a lot of your men too in the battle, in the war. All right? A lot of men will die in these last days. All right? Get used to hearing that. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. It's back to 2 Esdras 16:33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Right? It's going to be a mass, so-called genocide on men. All right? Only a few men will be saved. All right? Mainly starting with the elect, right, who the Lord is born to protect, and those that were saved for slavery. But a lot of y'all are going to die in these wars. All right? You're going to die in the Civil War. You're going to die, all right, in all types of horrific ways. Especially our men who refuse to return to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because you're Israelites. So you're going to die a horrible death. Verse 34. Our brethren, so-called brethren, you're not brothers because you don't want to hearken to the word. So right now you're the enemy, all right, to us, and you're the enemy to our power. Verse 34. In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed. You see that? In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed. So a lot of your men are going to die out there, women. Okay? And their husbands shall perish of famine, right? Starving. It's going to be a mass shortage on food, all right? Look at Brexit, man. They already got military troops, all right, being prepared out there in UK. All right, that's just for another topic, but that's just making a point. All right, it's going to be bad times coming. So Lord willing is edifying. Hey, once again, man, the Russian troops are now in Venezuela. All right. Wars and rumors of wars are being pushed out in the forefront, in your face. There's going to be a huge war breaking out, and a lot of your men are going to die in these wars, especially the men of our people. All right. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Americans, because if you don't want to return to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you will die in these wars because a draft is coming, especially if you're dwelling here in Babylon, America. With that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Makah Kodash. Double honors to the apostle, great millstone, who grew well and taught us this truth. The salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life to do so for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it doing, keep the faith. And with that, shalom and a ball.